6 pounds of chocolate cost $72. What is the cost of 1 pound of chocolate? In this problem, we can see that we're dealing with 6 pounds of chocolate. The total cost of all those pounds is $72. And we want to try to figure out what the cost is of just 1 pound of chocolate. So here, we want to figure out the cost of 1 pound of chocolate. Well, the cost of 1 pound means how many dollars for 1 pound? We have a dollar amount in this problem, $72, but that's the cost of 6 pounds of chocolate. Let's try to visualize the situation we're working with here. We have 6 pounds of chocolate. Let's imagine that each one of these cards is a pound of chocolate. So here's a pound. Here's another pound of chocolate. Here's a 3rd pound of chocolate. And a 4th, a 5th, and a 6th pound of chocolate. What we know is all 6 pounds cost a total of $72. The total cost is $72. What we want to do is separate this total cost of $72 into 6 equal-sized parts. We want to separate $72 into 6 equal parts. Well, because we want to separate $72 into 6 parts, we want to divide. We want to take $72 and divide by 6. That's exactly what division means. Let's go through the division here. Now, to do long division, I think about 6 going into 7. It goes in 1 time. 1 times 6 is 6. I subtract and get 1. Bring down the 2. 6 goes into 12 2 times. 2 times 6 is 12. Subtract, I get 0. So when I separate $72 into 6 parts, I get 12. That means $12 for each part. So we can see that $12 is the cost of 1 pound of chocolate. And that's the answer to this problem. Now, I want to think about this answer a little bit further. Let's go ahead and label each one of our pounds of chocolate here. We now know they each cost $12. $12 for this one, $12 for this, $12 here, $12 here, $12 here, and finally $12 for this one. So each one of these pounds of chocolate costs $12. Another way we could express our answer with other words that mean the same thing is, we could say the cost of chocolate is $12 per pound. We can express the answer to this problem as a rate. Now, I'd like to take just a few more minutes to solve this problem a different way. This other method involves looking at how the units are related in this problem. The units in this problem are dollars, pounds, and we can think of the units of our answer as dollars per pound. This new method is especially helpful when we're working with more complicated numbers like fractions and decimals. We're going to work with the units by setting up what's called a unit equation. Let's go ahead and set up a unit equation for this problem. A unit equation involves the words of the units only. It doesn't involve the numbers. We'll add the numbers later. In order to set up a unit equation, we need a rate that involves the word per. We don't see the word per in this word problem, but we can express the units of our answer using the word per. This is how we can do it. In this problem, we were trying to find the cost of 1 pound. The cost of 1 pound is the same as saying how many dollars for 1 pound. When you want to find out how many of 1 unit correspond to 1 of the second units, we can express that relationship using the word per. Here, we want to find how many dollars per pound. The word per is just another way of saying for 1. So the answer that we're looking for in this problem is a rate. It's how many dollars per pound. Now let's use that rate to set up a unit equation. I'm going to take dollars per pound and I'm going to multiply by a quantity whose units are represented by the word after the per. That's the word pound here. After I multiply, I end up with an answer that's a quantity whose units are represented by the word in front of the per. That's dollars. Dollars per pound times pounds, I'll write an S on pounds because that could be any number of pounds, equals dollars. Let's think about this again. If I take a rate in dollars per pound, and if I multiply by the units after the per, I end up with an answer whose units are given by the units in front of the per. Now let's try to fill in some values here below our unit equation. Dollars per pound, that's the same as dollars for 1 pound, or the cost of 1 pound. That's what we're trying to find in this problem. We don't know how many dollars per pound. Times how many pounds? Well, we know we had 6 pounds of chocolate. How many dollars? The 6 pounds of chocolate cost $72. So when we fill in the values, and when we notice that we're trying to find dollars per pound, we have a missing number statement. we're missing a multiplier in this multiplication problem. So we can divide to find the answer. We take the answer to the multiplication, 72, and we divide by the multiplier we have, that's 6. 72 divided by 6 will give us our answer. And let's just go ahead and do that one more time. 72 divided by 6 is going to be 12, comes out even. And that 12 we think of as $12 per pound that's the cost of just 1 pound of the chocolate. One last thing I want to say here is that people often write this answer another way. If you use the $ symbol for dollars, the $ goes in front of the 12. You don't need to write the word dollars then. You can just write per pound. That means exactly the same as $12 per pound.